Okay, so for the first part of this video, or for this exercise, you need to go to the Pythonista app. And once you get in the Pythonista app, you need to go to the menu, which is the 3 lines if you remember correctly, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. So we're going to go to this iPad. We are going to choose the plus sign in the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to choose plus. Now you're going to choose empty script because it's a fresh script, and up here under Untitled, you're going to call it Tip Calculator. When you're done, hit create, and then you will have the tipcalculator.py, which is where you will begin to do the exercise, which I am about to put on the next screen.
So, first thing I want you to do is I want you to create a variable called meal, and I want it to equal $44.50. If you can do that, pause the video, do it now, and then come back. If you're not quite sure, go ahead and watch me do it. So that's how we create a variable. We're just putting the name, and then we're going to assign it a value using the equal sign, because every time we make a variable, we always use the equal sign, and it's going to equal $44.50. Okay? Does not matter if it means the unit number, so if it's meters, feet, dollars, cents, you just put the number. Okay? Always just put the number. No other symbols, or else you will screw up the code. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to add a tax variable, and we are going to have that equal to 6.75 divided by 100. If you want to try that on your own, pause the video right now and come back. Otherwise, follow along with me. So we created a variable. We assign the equal sign so we can give it a value, and we are going to do 6.75 divided by 100. Okay? Now, for some of you that like a little bit more space, this will work as well. Okay? And we are going to go down to the third line. And on the third line, what we are going to do is we are going to create another variable called tip. So you're going to have tip equal 15.0 divided by 100. Pause the video and go ahead and do that now. Tip equals, remember, always the equal sign, and we're going to do 15.0 divided by 100. Okay, so what we have done in our program, skip a line just to kind of separate it. So what we've done so far is we just created 3 variables, and if you went to a restaurant, we are assuming that you spent $44.50 on your meal. The tax is the tax is 6.75%, and the tip is 15%. Okay? But right now, if we run the file, it's going to do nothing because it doesn't show us anything. It just sets up the numbers, and that's all it does. Okay? So what we need to do now is, and sometimes if loading console takes a while, that's totally fine. Don't worry about how long it takes. It'll eventually go, but nothing's going to show up down there. So what we need to do now is we need to add everything together. Okay? So we're going to call meal again. And this is when we talk about updating a variable. Okay? So when we update a variable and add something else to it, we need to equal itself. So meal equals meal. And if this gets a little confusing, that's fine. I will show you. And we're going to do plus meal times tax. Okay. What I am doing right here is I am taking the initial cost of meal, which is $44.50, and I am adding to it meal times tax, which is $44.50 times 6.75 divided by 100. Now, order of operations states that multiplication goes before addition. So this is going to do its calculation and add it on to $44.50. So what that means, and please do not do this at the moment, but if you print meal and you run it, it is going to give you a value. Oops, remember when you do prints, make sure you add parentheses. Mr. Lane forgot that. And it's going to give you $47.50. So look what it did. It's no longer $44.50 when we print meal. If I print meal up here, you have $44.5, which is what it originally was. And now it's $47.50. We'll delete that. We don't need the prints. That's just to tell us that we're doing it right. Now, we've added tax onto our meal, but we now need to add tip. So we're going to create a new variable called total. And we are going to have it equal meal plus meal times tip. Okay? Now, okay, so the next thing we need to do is print the total. Okay? And the total comes out to 54.6293125. Now, in the real world, that does not work for change because you only should have 2 decimal points. So this is what I want you to do. Do exactly what I do, and we're going to fix this, okay? We're going to do quotes. We are going to add a percent sign. We are going to add 2F. We are going to close with a quote. We're going to add a space. We are going to add another percent sign. And we are going to add total. And we're going to add the parenthesis here. Now, what this little piece of code does is it only is going to display 2 decimal points. Okay? Do you need to know this? No. Just put it in and it's going to work. Note that if I chose 3F, it's going to show 3 decimal points. So this is just a little piece of code that just reduces the amount of decimal points that is going to be run. Okay? And that is it. Once you are done with this, please go to share, get sharing link, and submit it to me. Thank you for paying attention to this amazing video. You guys are awesome. Have a wonderful day.